Have you ever woken up with something feeling off and wondered if it could be more than just a passing issue? Today, we're going to uncover 5 crucial signs that could signal cancer, particularly in older age. These signs could be the difference between catching something early and facing serious health challenges. So make sure to watch until the very end. You won't want to miss this potentially life-saving information. But before we dive in, if you find this video helpful, please take a moment to like it, share it with those you care about, and leave a comment below with your thoughts or personal experiences. Your insights could be incredibly valuable to someone else watching. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you can stay updated with more important health advice and tips. Now, let's talk about cancer, a word that brings fear to many because of its devastating impact. Known for its high mortality rate, cancer often strikes without warning. But the good news is that if detected early, it can often be treated more effectively. The key is knowing what to look for, especially in the quiet moments when you first wake up. Recognizing these early signs can be the first step in taking control of your health and potentially saving your life. In this video, we'll walk through the 5 warning signs you should never ignore upon waking. Being proactive about your health is crucial, and we're here to guide you through it. Stay with us, because what you learn today could be one of the most important health decisions you make. Number 1. Persistent headaches after waking up. The first sign you have to pay attention to is persistent headaches after waking up. When we start our day with a headache, it can completely disrupt our sense of well-being. Often, we might brush it off, thinking it's just a minor discomfort. But this is not something to ignore. Morning headaches are not always a sign of a simple issue. In fact, they can be a symptom of more serious health conditions. What many people don't realize is that consistent headaches right after waking up can serve as an early warning signal from our body, indicating that something deeper may be wrong. Let us consider a story about Frank, who used to wake up each morning with a dull, throbbing headache. He thought it was just stress from work, or perhaps a bad pillow, so he would take painkillers and go about his day. Over time, however, the headaches became more severe. Frank began feeling fatigued throughout the day, lacking the energy and focus he once had. His mornings started with pain, and it felt like his mind was clouded. What Frank didn't know at the time was that these headaches were an early indication of something more dangerous, something that needed immediate attention. One possible explanation for waking up with headaches is cerebrovascular disease, which affects the blood vessels that supply the brain. When blood flow to the brain is compromised, it can lead to chronic pain, and in some cases cognitive decline over time. If blood flow is restricted during the night, morning headaches can become frequent. For someone like Frank, who initially ignored these symptoms, the condition could have worsened without intervention. The brain relies heavily on a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients, and any disruption to this supply can have serious consequences. Another potential cause of morning headaches is cervical spondylosis, which is a condition that involves the wear and tear of the spinal discs in the neck. Over time, this can lead to the compression of nerves, causing pain to radiate from the neck to the head. Frank, who worked long hours at a desk without paying attention to his posture, eventually discovered that his headaches were partly due to cervical issues. His bad posture had gradually led to nerve compression, which caused the persistent pain. This is something many of us overlook, how our daily habits can affect our health over time. In addition to physical causes, depression can also manifest in the form of morning headaches. Emotional stress and mental health challenges often show up physically, even when we aren't fully aware of them. For Frank, part of his problem was related to the overwhelming stress he felt in his personal life. The emotional toll of his stress was building up and started to appear as physical pain, especially during the early hours of the day. We must remember that the body and mind are deeply connected, and what happens in one will affect the other. Morning headaches can also be an indicator of a more gradual decline in cognitive function, including memory issues. As blood flow to the brain becomes restricted over time, the brain's ability to function optimally can diminish. Frank noticed that his concentration at work wasn't as sharp as it used to be. He found himself forgetting small tasks or losing focus during meetings. What he didn't connect at first was that these memory lapses were tied to his headaches. His doctor later explained that the reduced blood flow to his brain, which was causing the headaches, was also affecting his ability to think clearly. In severe cases, untreated morning headaches can even lead to a stroke. This may sound extreme, but when the blood vessels in the brain are consistently deprived of oxygen, the risk of a stroke increases. Frank was fortunate that his condition was caught before it reached this stage. His doctor explained that the persistent morning pain was a warning that something was wrong, and had he waited any longer, the consequences could have been life-threatening. It is crucial to understand that the body often gives us small signs before a major health event occurs, and ignoring these signs can have serious consequences. However, for many, there are also milder cases where the headache may not be linked to a major underlying health issue. Simple remedies such as drinking ginger tea, applying warm compresses, or soaking feet in warm water can provide relief from occasional headaches. These natural methods can help ease the pain, especially if the cause is more temporary, such as dehydration or tension. But for Frank, temporary solutions only masked the bigger problem for a short while. While remedies like ginger tea helped him cope in the moment, they did not address the root cause of his persistent pain. It is also important to consider how our daily habits and posture affect us. If we spend hours sitting at a desk without proper posture, or take too little time to stretch and relax, we might find ourselves dealing with frequent headaches. Over time, poor posture can lead to chronic neck strain, and that strain can result in morning headaches, as was the case for Frank. By paying closer attention to how we sit, work, and move, we can prevent some of the physical causes of this pain before they become more serious. Seeking professional help is a vital step that should not be delayed. If we notice that these headaches become frequent or more severe, it is important to consult a healthcare professional. Frank's journey serves as a reminder that while small discomforts might seem manageable in the short term, they can grow into much larger health issues if left unchecked. A medical professional can help us get to the root of the problem, whether it's related to blood circulation, nerve compression, or an emotional struggle. Frank's story also highlights the importance of taking care of both physical and mental health. What started as morning headaches led him down a path of discovery, learning about how his lifestyle, emotional state, and physical posture were all connected. His journey shows us that we must not be complacent when something feels off, especially when it comes to our health. Every symptom is a signal, and it's our job to listen to those signals, seek help when necessary, and take the right steps to improve our well-being. We need to remember that the human body is a complex system where physical, mental, and emotional factors are intertwined. Persistent morning headaches, as minor as they may seem at first, can serve as a reminder of this complexity. By paying attention to these early signs, we can prevent more serious conditions from developing and live healthier, more balanced lives. Frank's story is not just about his headaches. It's about his journey toward understanding his body and mind and taking control of his health in a proactive and mindful way. Number 2, joint pain after waking up. The second one that seems most concerning to us is waking up with joint pain. We often think of joint pain as something inevitable, a part of the aging process. But what if it's not just a sign of growing older? What if your body is trying to warn you of something far more serious? You see, persistent joint pain in the morning can sometimes be an indicator of a hidden issue, like bone tuberculosis. Yes, it sounds alarming, but that's why it's essential to pay attention when our bodies send us these signals, especially when they seem to be speaking louder and more frequently over time. Let's talk about Mr. Owen. He's a man who, at the age of 66, started to notice that his joints weren't quite as spry as they used to be. The stiffness he felt every morning was becoming something he could count on, more reliable than his morning cup of coffee. For weeks, he tried to ignore it. Perhaps it's familiar to us all, that tendency to brush off discomfort and carry on as if everything is fine. After all, who wants to feel like they're making a fuss over what might just be old age? But in Owen's case, the pain wouldn't go away. It became a constant companion, turning his mornings into a battle. Eventually, he sought medical help, and that's when he learned that his persistent pain wasn't just a sign of getting older. It was bone tuberculosis, a condition that, if left untreated, could have led to permanent damage. This is where the real danger lies, not in the pain itself, but in how easily we dismiss it. Bone tuberculosis, which often affects the hips, spine, and knees, is a serious condition that can slowly erode the bones. The problem is that the symptoms mimic the usual discomforts of aging, so many people, like Owen, don't recognize the seriousness of their condition until it's too late. And that's the frightening part. The longer we wait, the harder it becomes to treat. In Owen's case, early intervention saved him from a future filled with even greater pain and the possibility of losing his mobility altogether. Now, it's important to understand that not every morning ache is going to be a sign of something as severe as bone tuberculosis. But this doesn't mean we should ignore it. Your body is constantly giving you feedback, letting you know what's happening inside. And if we're willing to listen, we can catch problems early before they turn into something far more serious. If you're waking up day after day with the same stiff joints, it's worth asking yourself, is this normal for me, or is my body trying to tell me something I've been too busy or too tired to hear? Sometimes joint pain can be managed with the right combination of care and attention. Simple exercises, for instance, can make a world of difference. Stretching your joints gently each morning can help them stay limber and ease the stiffness that comes with hours of immobility during sleep. It's about nurturing your body and giving it what it needs to thrive, rather than just pushing through the pain as though it's something you have to endure. In addition to movement, heat therapy can work wonders. A warm compress applied to the affected joints can provide immediate relief, softening the muscles around the joint and increasing blood flow. It's a soothing way to start the day, especially when that stiffness feels overwhelming. Pairing heat therapy with essential oils like eucalyptus or lavender can turn this into a calming ritual, one that not only alleviates physical pain, but also helps set a more peaceful tone for the rest of the day. But while these self-care strategies can help, they're not always enough. The key is knowing when it's time to seek help. If the pain is persistent, worsening, or affecting your quality of life, it's crucial to get it checked out. We've all heard stories of people who ignored their symptoms for too long, only to discover they were dealing with something far more serious than they'd realized. Let's not make the same mistake. Pain, especially the kind that meets you at the start of each day, isn't something to be shrugged off. It's a messenger, a signal that something might need your attention. We're often too quick to dismiss it as an inconvenience, when in reality, it's your body's way of keeping you informed. Think of it like an alarm system. Sometimes it's a false alarm, but other times it's alerting you to a real threat. Mr. Owen's story reminds us just how important it is to take joint pain seriously. By paying attention to his body's signals, he was able to get the treatment he needed before his condition worsened. He didn't let his pain dictate the rest of his life. He acted, and because of that, he avoided what could have been a debilitating future. We all have the ability to do the same. The question is, are we willing to listen? When it comes to managing joint pain, prevention and early action are our best defenses. Whether it's through gentle movement, heat therapy, or seeking professional help when necessary, we have the tools to take control of our health. It's not about fearing the worst. It's about being proactive and taking care of ourselves in the way we deserve. After all, we only get one body, and it's worth the effort to keep it functioning well for as long as possible. The real lesson here is that pain doesn't have to be a permanent part of your life. It's not something you have to live with indefinitely. Whether it's a minor ache that can be managed with self-care or something more serious that requires medical intervention, addressing the pain early can make all the difference. There's no need to suffer in silence when help is available. So if you find yourself waking up with that familiar stiffness, don't just push through it. Take a moment to assess how you're feeling. Is this a normal part of aging, or is your body asking for a bit more attention? By tuning into those signals and responding with care, you can prevent something minor from becoming something major. And in doing so, you give yourself the best possible chance at a healthy, active, and pain-free future. Number 3. Fatigue and memory decline after waking up. The third sign you may notice often shows up in ways you might not immediately recognize. Persistent fatigue and a noticeable decline in memory after waking up. While waking up feeling tired is something most of us have experienced from time to time, there's a difference between the occasional rough morning and waking up every day with exhaustion that just won't lift. If this kind of tiredness follows you around regularly, even after what should have been a good night's sleep, it's time to pay attention. It's not just about being physically drained. It can be a signal that something more serious like thyroid issues, diabetes, or even depression is lurking beneath the surface. Let's reflect on how this might play out. You wake up feeling as though the weight of the previous day is still pressing on you. And it's not just your body that's tired. Your mind feels sluggish too. You're reaching for thoughts, but they're just out of your grasp, like trying to hold onto sand slipping through your fingers. Simple tasks feel monumental, and your focus, well, that's gone, replaced with a foggy haze that makes the day ahead seem longer and harder. This isn't something to brush off. It's your body's way of saying something is wrong, and it's worth listening closely. Think about someone like Frank. He's always been a sharp guy, known for his quick wit and boundless energy. But lately, Frank's mornings are becoming a struggle. No matter what time he goes to bed or how long he sleeps, he wakes up feeling like he hasn't slept at all. That heavy, unshakable fatigue drags on throughout the day, and to make matters worse, he's starting to notice his memory isn't what it used to be. He forgets small things, like where he placed his phone or even the name of a person he just met. At first, Frank brushed it off, thinking maybe it was just stress. But as the weeks go by, these small slips in memory start becoming more frequent, and the tiredness never leaves. What's happening to Frank might be happening to many of us, but we don't always recognize the signs early enough. Fatigue and memory lapses aren't just an inconvenience. They can be early warnings of something much deeper. For Frank, his symptoms could be tied to his thyroid, which plays a critical role in regulating energy and metabolism. Alternatively, he might be dealing with fluctuations in his blood sugar, which can be an early sign of diabetes. And in some cases, constant fatigue and mental fog can be physical manifestations of depression, a condition that often hides behind everyday stress and responsibilities. Let's talk about why it's so important not to dismiss these signs. People like Frank often try to power through the tiredness, thinking it's just a part of life or a result of working too hard. But when fatigue persists, when it starts to affect your mental clarity and ability to function, it's no longer something to push aside. These are signals from your body that need to be addressed sooner rather than later. Consulting a doctor for a thorough evaluation is a crucial step in uncovering the root cause and addressing it before it turns into a bigger problem. Now, while it's essential to seek medical advice, there are also simple lifestyle changes that can help combat fatigue and improve cognitive function. Drinking a glass of lemon water in the morning, for example, is a small but effective habit. Lemon water helps hydrate the body and flush out toxins, setting the tone for better energy throughout the day. It may seem like a minor change, but over time, it can have a big impact on how you feel, both physically and mentally. Another key factor is your sleep routine. It's not just about getting enough hours of sleep, it's about the quality and consistency of that sleep. Going to bed at the same time each night helps regulate your body's internal clock, making it easier to fall asleep and wake up feeling refreshed. This kind of regularity can prevent those groggy mornings and make a significant difference in reducing overall fatigue. Diet also plays a crucial role in managing both energy levels and brain function. Eating a balanced diet that includes plenty of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants supports your body's ability to produce energy and maintain sharp cognitive skills. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, for example, can be particularly beneficial for brain health and memory. When Frank starts making small adjustments to his diet, incorporating more nutrient-dense foods, he'll likely notice improvements not only in his energy levels but also in his focus and memory retention. But even with these changes, it's essential not to overlook the importance of seeking professional help if the symptoms persist. If Frank's fatigue and memory decline don't improve with lifestyle adjustments, it could be time to run some tests. A doctor might suggest checking his thyroid function, testing his blood sugar levels, or even considering a mental health evaluation to rule out depression. Getting to the root of the problem early is the best way to prevent more serious complications down the road. Bring this back to you. If you've been waking up feeling more tired than when you went to bed, if you're noticing that you're forgetting small things more frequently, take it as a sign to stop and evaluate what's going on. Fatigue, particularly when coupled with memory decline, is never something to ignore. It's your body's way of telling you that something needs attention. Whether it's a tweak to your routine or a visit to the doctor, addressing these signs sooner rather than later can make all the difference. We should also remember that taking care of ourselves isn't just about physical health. It's about nurturing the whole self, body, mind, and spirit. Persistent fatigue can affect your emotional well-being too. It's harder to stay motivated, to connect with others, and to enjoy the things you once loved when you're constantly battling tiredness. By making small changes, seeking help when needed, and listening to what your body is telling you, you're giving yourself the chance to reclaim your energy, your focus, and your overall quality of life. So, as you move forward, ask yourself this: how are you feeling when you wake up each day? Are you truly rested, or is your body quietly trying to tell you something more? The answers to these questions are important because they can guide you toward a healthier, more energized version of yourself. Number 4. Wheezing and mucus in the mouth after waking up. Have you ever woken up in the morning with a tightness in your chest, feeling as though you can't quite catch your breath? Maybe you've noticed that your mouth is full of mucus, and every breath comes with a faint wheeze. These experiences are more than just uncomfortable. They may be trying to tell you something important about your respiratory health. It's not just about the immediate discomfort, but what this pattern could signify over time. When we face these symptoms, especially on a recurring basis, it's essential to pay close attention and consider what our body is trying to communicate. Let's take a moment to explore what wheezing and mucus buildup in the morning could be indicating. At first glance, you might think it's just a temporary issue, maybe caused by the air in your bedroom or a cold night's sleep. But when we step back and look at the broader picture, these symptoms can sometimes point to more serious respiratory conditions. Conditions like asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, or even lung cancer can start subtly. The key is not to panic, but to stay aware and mindful of what's happening in our bodies. Imagine someone named Frank who noticed this exact pattern. For weeks, he'd wake up with a congested feeling, wheezing softly as he struggled to clear his throat. At first, Frank dismissed it, thinking it was just allergies acting up, or maybe a bit of dust in his room. But the symptoms didn't go away. Every morning, the wheezing persisted, and he started feeling more fatigued during the day, constantly clearing his throat. Frank knew deep down that something was off, but like many of us, he pushed it aside, too busy with work and life to address it right away. Over time, Frank's symptoms worsened. He started feeling short of breath, even during mild activities like walking to his car or climbing a flight of stairs. It wasn't until a particularly troubling morning, when the wheezing seemed harsher and his chest tighter than usual, that Frank decided to consult a doctor. It was a turning point for him, recognizing that this wasn't something that would resolve on its own. And this, dear friends, is where the lesson comes in. Our bodies often give us signals long before something becomes severe. It's up to us to listen. When we face recurring symptoms like wheezing or excessive mucus, the first step is not to ignore them. We need to become more curious about our health, not just reactive when things go wrong. For Frank, the diagnosis was COPD, a condition that affects millions but often goes undiagnosed until it has progressed. Early detection allowed him to start treatment that significantly improved his quality of life. But what if he had waited longer? What if he had continued to dismiss those morning symptoms? The outcome could have been far worse. Now, as we reflect on Frank's experience, we can see how important it is to take small, manageable steps toward better respiratory health. Remedies like drinking warm water with honey and lemon in the morning can soothe the throat and reduce mucus. Using a humidifier at night can help keep the airways moist, reducing congestion. Simple as these actions may seem, they are practical ways to address the symptoms. But remember, these remedies are only part of the picture. They provide relief, but they don't replace the need for professional medical advice, especially if the symptoms are persistent. Consider this. If we woke up every morning feeling slightly off, would we not eventually seek an answer? Why should our respiratory health be any different? The body is a remarkable communicator, sending subtle signals that something isn't right long before the issue escalates. If we feel tightness in our chest, struggle to catch our breath, or consistently have mucus in the morning, it's not just an inconvenience, it's a call to action. And that call to action is where the real power lies. When we listen to these signs early, we can make changes that have a lasting impact on our health. Just like Frank, who finally sought help, we can benefit from paying attention to what our bodies need. Whether it's through natural remedies, lifestyle changes, or consulting a healthcare provider, the important thing is not to wait until the symptoms become unmanageable. For some, these symptoms might be early signs of asthma, a condition that can be managed effectively with the right treatments. For others, they could point to more severe conditions like lung cancer, where early detection makes all the difference in treatment outcomes. The lesson here is not just to be vigilant, but to be proactive. Small symptoms can be the beginning of something larger, and addressing them early can make all the difference. So, as we wrap up this discussion, let's remember that waking up with wheezing and mucus in the mouth is not just about discomfort. It's about listening to what our bodies are telling us. It's about taking steps to ensure that we are not overlooking something more serious. And it's about finding ways to improve our respiratory function, whether through simple home remedies or more significant medical interventions. We owe it to ourselves to listen closely, to be mindful of the signals our body sends, and to act accordingly. Whether it's a small change like drinking warm water in the morning, or a larger step like visiting a healthcare professional, each action we take toward better health brings us closer to living fully and without the weight of unresolved symptoms. Just as Frank found his way to better health through awareness and action, we too can make those choices that support our well-being. The power is in our hands, and it all starts with paying attention. Number 5. Persistent coughing after waking up. The last sign we must be mindful of as we grow older is persistent coughing, particularly in the mornings. It's not something we should dismiss lightly, especially when it lingers for more than a couple of weeks. When we wake up and notice a cough that refuses to go away, this could be our body's way of signaling something more serious, like lung cancer. Statistics show that more than 90% of early-stage lung cancer patients report coughing that lasts for weeks, especially in the morning. We aren't here to create unnecessary fear, but this is one of those symptoms that should never be ignored. Imagine this. Frank, a 66-year-old who recently retired, enjoys his peaceful mornings sipping tea while watching the sunrise. Life seems calm and predictable until one day, he notices a persistent cough that greets him every morning. At first, he brushes it off, thinking it's just a seasonal issue or maybe allergies. But the cough continues, day after day. Weeks pass, and one morning, Frank notices a speck of blood after coughing. His heart skips a beat, and a memory flashes in his mind. He once heard that prolonged coughing could be an early sign of lung cancer. Instead of pushing it aside, he takes action. Frank schedules a visit to his doctor, who runs a series of tests. It turns out, Frank's early detection allows him to begin treatment while the cancer is still in its early stages, improving his chances for recovery tremendously. This story serves as a reminder that we cannot afford to overlook persistent changes in our bodies. While coughing might seem like a minor inconvenience, when it sticks around too long, it could be a red flag. If that morning cough lasts beyond 2 weeks, or if it's accompanied by other symptoms like blood or difficulty breathing, it's crucial to get it checked out immediately. Early intervention can make all the difference between a manageable condition and a more serious outcome. We're not suggesting that every cough is cause for alarm, but we should pay close attention when it becomes routine. Many people, especially as they age, become accustomed to certain bodily changes and dismiss them as just part of the aging process. However, persistent coughing that doesn't resolve could be an early warning from your body. This is why it's so important to stay in tune with how we're feeling and not to take any prolonged symptoms lightly. Frank's situation is one that resonates with many. The tendency to downplay what seems like a harmless cough can be strong. But as we age, our bodies become more sensitive to various health issues, and what might seem like a small change could be an indicator of something bigger. Catching it early means giving yourself the best possible chance to take control of your health. Beyond serious warning signs like persistent coughing, let's talk about the habits we can adopt daily to support our overall well-being. Drinking a glass of warm water when you wake up, for instance, is a simple yet powerful habit. It helps flush out toxins, stimulates your digestive system, and sets the tone for the day by keeping you hydrated right from the start. It's these small routines that add up to a healthier lifestyle. Stretching in the morning is another habit that can greatly improve how we feel throughout the day. As we get older, we can become more prone to stiffness and reduced flexibility. Spending just a few minutes stretching can promote better circulation, improve muscle flexibility, and even enhance our mood. It's a quick and easy way to set your body in motion, giving it the energy it needs to handle the day ahead. Maintaining regular bowel movements is also a critical part of overall health, yet it's something we often overlook. Your gut plays a significant role in your overall well-being, impacting everything from energy levels to immune function. By staying consistent with your meals, staying hydrated, and even incorporating gentle abdominal massage, you can keep your digestive system moving smoothly, which can improve your health in numerous ways. Another small yet effective habit is facial massage. This might seem like a luxury, but gently massaging your face in the morning can improve blood flow, reduce puffiness, and even promote a sense of relaxation. It's a simple form of self-care that helps you feel refreshed and rejuvenated as you start your day. Incorporating these habits into our daily routine doesn't require drastic changes, but it does require consistency. And it's that consistency that makes the difference over time. Little by little, these habits help to build a foundation of health and well-being, reducing the risks of developing more serious conditions as we age. When we think about health, we often focus on the big issues, but it's the small daily actions that contribute to lasting wellness. In essence, it's about being proactive rather than reactive. By tuning in to the signals our bodies send us, like that persistent cough in the morning, and by adopting these small yet powerful habits, we can maintain control over our health as we age. Frank's story is a perfect example of how early detection, paired with a mindful approach to daily habits, can lead to a much better outcome. So what's the key takeaway here? Pay attention to those subtle signs, like the persistent morning cough, and don't hesitate to seek medical advice when something feels off. But don't stop there. Start building those small habits into your routine, habits that contribute to overall well-being. The sooner we adopt them, the greater the impact on our health over time. As we conclude, think about how you can take these lessons into your own life. Are there small changes you can make, like adding a morning stretch, drinking warm water, or simply being more attentive to your body's signals? These might seem like minor adjustments, but they add up to major benefits over the long term. Taking care of your health now, by paying attention to both the big and small signs, is the best way to ensure that you'll enjoy your golden years with vitality and peace of mind. As we've discussed today, recognizing these early signs could be the difference between catching cancer at a treatable stage and facing a more difficult battle later on. Your health is your most valuable asset, and staying informed is one of the best ways to protect it. Remember, it's not just about being aware, it's about taking action. If you notice any of these warning signs, don't hesitate to seek professional medical advice. Early detection truly can make all the difference, giving you a better chance to lead a longer, healthier life. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this information helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more valuable content. We'd love to hear from you. What did you learn from this video, and how do you plan to apply it in your life? Comment below, and let's continue this important conversation about health and well-being.